Hello there, today we'll take a look at Solid-State Logic's new dynamic equalizer plugin. Let's begin with this electric guitar. We got an overview of the frequency spectrum here. I will turn the tooltips on so we can see what Solid-State Logic says about it. Top graph, mini display for displaying extra useful context. Okay, so we can somehow select what it's showing here. Let's boost the top end. Maybe at around 3 kHz. And high cut at around 8 kHz. Change the Q factor here, that's great, so we can also boost it at the cut frequency. We can listen to the selected band solo, so that's a great feature. Activate the dynamic functions by clicking on this arrow. That's nice. Low cut at around 50 Hz. We can open the piano roll here. Here it also displays the notes we have edited. We can determine what is displayed in the top graph. We can display the step response of the EQ processing. Okay, great. And we can also display the phase response. Range. Set the maximum range of the graph. This is useful for limiting the maximum amount of gain change you can apply. We can also set the processing to parallel, so it slightly changes the EQ curve. We can switch the phase. We can also switch the phase of the left and the right channel only. We can dock or undock the band controls. If we dock the band controls, they will be shown in the lower section of the EQ. That's another great feature. I switched to the drums. So let's see what we can achieve here. Low cut at 30 Hz. Slight boost at 80 Hz or 60 Hz. Let's do a slight boost at 80 Hz. A cut at 100 Hz. Another cut at around 500 Hz. To make the drum sound a bit cleaner. Maybe some boost at around 3 kHz. 2.5 sounds great. And a high shelf at around 8 kHz to boost the top end. We can select from a few band types here. Low cut, low shelf, bell filter, high shelf, high cut. This is called butterverse. A notch and tilt. Bypass. Activated. Alright, let's take a look at what Solid-State Logic writes about it. Your definitive tool for dynamic equalization. X-DynEQ builds up the renowned Execute 2 plugin and gives you a definitive tool for dynamic equalization during recording, mixing, and mastering. It draws upon SSL's extensive legacy in EQ innovation developed over decades of designing analog and digital consoles, making it our most advanced EQ plugin up to date. X-DynEQ features 20 different EQ types and filter shapes with dynamic EQ options for each shelf or bell filter, offering upon 24 dynamic EQ bands for detailed sound sculpting. It also features 3 new filter types, Notch, Bandpass, and Tilt EQ, giving you even more tools to precisely shape your mix. Intuitive node-based interface, per band mid-side left-right processing, auto threshold attack and release, anti-gramping EQ technology, and also backward compatibility with Execute 2. Notch, Bandpass, and Tilt EQ. Notch helps to fix with precision. Bandpass allows you to focus and isolate ranges. Tilt-EQ allows you to balance overall tonal characters between the highs and lows. HQ mode and anti-cramping technology. The cutting-edge innovations of the X-DynEQ includes anti-cramping technology and an optical HQ mode. These features provide you with a high accuracy EQ response for your mixes. Flexible sidechain compatibilities. Any internal or external sources can be sidechained from any other of X-DynEQ's bands for precision EQing, repair, work, and creative effects. Piano roll view. Use the piano roll view to visualize and navigate your filter cutoffs and center frequencies aligned with musical tones. Alright, so let's try it on this acoustic guitar. It's too high, so at first we should use a high shelf filter. Low cut filter. It's around 100 Hz. Search for some resonating frequencies, like here at 300 Hz. Let's use the dynamic function for this. More gain reduction. Okay, I like this. Another resonating frequency at 900 Hz. I will also use the dynamic function here. So let's activate it. Let's dock the menu. Well, so let's boost it at around 3 kHz. I think I will deactivate the dynamic function at a high band. I think it's too much at around 11 kHz. Maybe a bit higher. Okay, I like it this way. It got a subtle pumping effect, but I think that's great in this case. I will deactivate the EQ. It's not so bright anymore, and it sounds more present. Well, let's use the dynamic function for the kick and the bass drum. I will dock the menu. We can change to external sidechain here. We got the sidechain now for band 2. We can also send it to the other bands or to the full bandwidth. By clicking here, we can listen to the sidechain signal. Here we can also switch between stereo and midside. We can activate the dynamic processing by clicking here. We can easily use it at automatic or select the threshold by ourselves. We can select a ratio here. We can use a softer or harder knee. The most important setting is, of course, the range. We can change the attack time here. And here we can edit the hold time for the band dynamics. Of course, we can also adjust the release time. I will set it to around 100 milliseconds. We can also expand the signal. But I will leave it at comp mode. Well, let's make some adjustments for the bass. Okay, let's also set the dynamic EQ at around 60 Hz. Let's set it to external sidechain. Activate the dynamic function. Bypassed. Activated. I will set another EQ band and again set it at 0 decibel and again activate the dynamic function but set it to external. I will use the bass track as the sidechain signal. So let's set the threshold and the range. Now the bass track and the guitar are working much better together. I think the new dynamic equalizer from solid-state Logic is a great EQ plugin. I like the new design, the technical improvements and the advanced features. I always enjoyed using the X-DynEQ and I'm looking forward to working with the new X-DynEQ. Alright, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you liked it, maybe you want to give me a thumbs up or even subscribe to my channel. That would be really nice. So maybe we will see you next time. Have a nice day. Bye bye.